Imagine you can give your patient one pill, watch them trip for 10 hours, and then send them home. And 6 weeks later, their depression is meaningfully better. That's not science fiction. That's what this trial is claiming. And it was published in JAMA. Now I know what half of you are thinking, finally. The other half? Absolutely not. Both reactions are reasonable, but neither is evidence. So let's look at the data. This is actually our first viewer-suggested video. Thanks for the idea, Nate. The PICO this week is in adults with moderate to severe major depressive disorder, does a single dose of 25 milligrams of psilocybin administered with psychological support reduce depressive symptoms compared to niacin placebo over 6 weeks. This was a phase 2 randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial. It was conducted across 11 sites in the United States. Adults could be included if they were between the ages of 21 to 65, with DSM-5 criteria for major depressive disorder and a current episode lasting at least 60 days with a baseline MADRS of 28 or higher. Psychotropic users could be included, provided they were able to taper off of their psychotropics before enrollment. Both groups received identical setup and settings. They had some prep sessions that was supervised for 7 to 10 hours during a dosing day. This included eye shades, a curated playlist, the whole thing, and then a post-dose integration sessions. One group got 25 milligrams of synthetic psilocybin, the other got 100 milligrams of niacin, and active placebo that causes flushing intended to aid blinding. Whether it actually did that is a different conversation. The primary outcome was a MADRS change from baseline to day 43. The secondary outcome was at day 8. Also, secondary outcomes included the Sheehan Disability Scale, which is a functional improvement measure, and rates of sustained response and remission. Crucially, all ratings were done by centralized, remote, blinded raters with no knowledge of treatment assignment, a direct fix for the unblinding problem that has plagued every prior psychedelic trial. The sponsor of the trial was Usona Institutes. They designed the study, managed the data, and drafted the manuscript. We'll come back to that later. So, what did they find? 104 patients were randomized in this trial. The mean age was 41, equal representation between men and women, and 89% of patients were white. The dropout was lopsided. 9 patients in the niacin group were lost to follow-up by day 43, versus just 1 in the psilocybin group. File that one away.
File!
The psilocybin group showed a mean MADRS reduction of 19.1 points at day 43, versus 6.8 for niacin. That's a between-group difference of negative 12.3 points, with a 95% confidence interval of negative 17.5 to negative 7.2. For reference, a benchmark of 6 points is clinically meaningful, so 12 is clinically substantial. This hits the upper bar.
I'm gonna go hit the bar.
Day 8 showed nearly the same gap, negative 12 points. The effect appeared fast and didn't attenuate across time point. That's not a drug hangover, that's a durable signal. Functional disability on the Sheehan score also favored psilocybin at day 43, negative 2.3 points. That means that there was a real-world improvement in work, social life, and home responsibilities. That matters. There was some sustained response. 50% symptom reduction at every post-visit through day 43 was achieved in 42% of patients taking psilocybin, compared to just 11% taking niacin. For the safety profile, 88% of psilocybin participants had at least one adverse event, versus 61 in the niacin group. This included headache at 66%, nausea at 48%, visual perceptual effects at 44% on the dosing day, and they all resolved. Severe adverse events occurred in 8%. There was no serious treatment-emergent events, and there was no suicidal behavior. So where does this land on the Castelli coefficient? This trial is meaningfully better than what's come before it in psychedelic literature. It's multi-centered, has centralized blinded raters, active comparator, 6 weeks of follow-up. The effect is large and durable, and the Sheehan data tells us it's more than just moving a scale, it's moving lives. But there's a ceiling. Niacin causes flushing, and psilocybin causes a 10-hour psychedelic effect. These really aren't comparable. Blinding almost certainly failed, and the authors acknowledge it but never formally tested it. 9 niacin dropout patients compared to just 1 in the psilocybin group. Also, the sponsor designed the trial, managed the data, and wrote the first draft. That's not a footnote, that's a conflict of interest in the methodology. The sample is 89% white, and a majority of patients were found to have upper income. 6 weeks is a short window for a disease that can last decades. And sustained remission didn't reach significance. For a major depressive disorder, that's really the goalpost. So this week's number is a 7 out of 10. Real signal, Best trial design in the space so far, but it's a phase 2 trial and has the limitations that come with it. What will move this higher is a couple of phase 3 trials that are pending publication by the end of this year or early next year that might hopefully remove some of the regulatory concern psychedelics have and get them out of jail and be used for the general population. A single dose of psilocybin with psychological support produced a rapid, sustained, clinically meaningful reduction in depression over 6 weeks, with functional data to back it up. The limitations are real, but so is the signal. If you're treating MDD and haven't started thinking about this space, now is the time. Until next time, this is Dispenses Written.